The following is a Spirit Street production. You've discovered your link to the Powercat podcast, presented by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. It's the Powercat podcast. And now, let's go to the Spirit Street Studios. Here's your host, Go Powercat publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
Welcome to another edition of the Powercat podcast, part of the 24/7 Sports Network, located on megaphone.fm. This is Tim Fitzgerald, Riley Gates, and Zach Carlson, and we are sponsored by The Fridge. Get into The Fridge for all your summer drinking needs. I know you're drinking. And if you're in Manhattan or the area, The Fridge is where you need to go. Well, not all of you are drinking. Some of you don't drink. But you can now go in there and get things that don't involve alcohol. Well, you always could, but now you can actually go in the liquor store and get things. It gets confusing because it's Kansas. They can't just make it simple, although they've attempted to do so. How's that for an open?
I went to the Fridge the other day.
What'd you get?
I got Boulevard and Bud Light. Thought we were going to be playing league softball. And
You're playing league softball?
Yeah, I'm in an old man softball league. Yep. But then we didn't go to the game, so I think we forfeited. So now I have all this Bud Light in my fridge.
I hate teams like you. Go Powercat used to have a really good softball team back in the day.
We're pretty good. I just think it was not. We got slated for the 9 p.m. game again.
Did you play doubleheaders?
No.
Oh, see, all of our league games were doubleheaders. And like you always had a break in the middle. There was 4 games, so you either played
That's an all-day
2 and 4,
thing.
1 and 3.
They don't start until like 4 or 5.
Well, yeah, in the
Go
evenings.
to 9. Yeah. I hit an inside the park home run a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, because your league sucks.
Basically, you hit over the guy in shallow right, and you're just need to be capable of running.
Yeah, you're not playing at a real high level there, Riley.
No, I'm really
Believe
not.
me, I know, because the Go Powercat team did. But by the time I stopped playing, they did. When I played, they didn't.
When was the last time you played softball?
Here we go. You want to hear this story?
Yeah.
It's a great story. My buddy Ben Himman still tells this story. So Fitz is attempting to spark a rally in a rain-delayed game.
What's the score at this point?
I don't know, but we were way old behind, and we ended up winning, by the way.
Okay.
Well, all right, story's over.
So I am on first, and someone loops a little single into left center field, and they lollygag. They were lollygaggers. You can't lollygag, because when you got the speed of Fitz, he'll take that third base on you.
Oh, no.
Yeah, exactly. So I turn the corner, and I'm digging. I hear the dugout come roaring, and I'm going to make it easily because this guy really half-assed it. And it's been raining, so there's like this little mound. Like the infield was flat. And by the time I get to third, I'm not lifting my feet real high because I'm in that bad a shape. And my heel catches that mound, and it looked like I was attempting to slide, but actually I tripped. And I go belly first into a soft spot 3 feet short of the base and have to crawl into third and still make it because the guy never threw the ball. And I get up, my belly is covered in mud, and there is a perfect impression of my belly in the infield, and everyone's just dying. But that was the first time I hurt my knee playing softball because I did it, and that was the last time I ever played because I had knee surgery after that.
I can't stop picturing that scene in Major League where he slides into second and he's like 4 feet short. Come on.
That's pretty much what I did, but less athletic. So anyhow, that was the end of my Go Powercat softball days. But I am going to have a reunion of the guys because it was the Purple Pig team, and then it was the Purple Pig Go Powercat team, and then it was the Go Powercat team, and had a long history. So I'm going to have a reunion of everyone, and we will buy our alcohol at the Fridge Wholesale Liquor. Okay, it's the Powercat podcast, and we are sitting here in the WTC Gig Power Studios. It's a beautiful, humid Wednesday afternoon. Morning.
That's pretty nice.
We could say
Kind
afternoon.
of humid, I guess.
It's not going to get above 80.
Dude, it's so nice right now, and this weekend
weird.
it's going to get to like 98.
Yeah, it's going to be Kansas. It's your questions from Wabash Station and your MC, Zach Carlson.
From Purple Cheese, are we surprised that Hunter Rison is transferring?
No. I kind of got the sense, and Wagcat had a good post about this. Was it Wagcat? No, it was my good friend, old fella, that he just didn't seem like he fit the culture, maybe, of the program. I didn't think he fit Bill Snyder's culture, but they took him because of the relationship with Andre. And the fact that the coaching staff changed and his tie to why he came to K-State departed. I think he's a very, very talented receiver, but as I posted on the board, I don't believe this was the first incident that has come up. Even if charges are dropped, which we now suspect, if everything goes away, which we now suspect, we think there's some smoke here. So I think there was just some discomfort. Well, let's not start off our regime here at Kansas State with just something hovering over the program.
Yeah, I think it's... I also, I don't want to create speculation to the point where you think I'm saying this definitively, but I don't see how this could have ended with Hunter Rison not serving some sort of suspension. Whether it would be 1 game, whether it would be 3 games, whether it would be 5 games. I don't know what that was going to be, but something tells me he was going to serve some sort of suspension if he had stayed at K-State. And if, we've mentioned kind of some things that we had heard, or that we had heard about some things in the past regarding this situation, and if it was as serious as we thought it was, it could have been a lengthy one. And so Chris Kleiman probably knew, hey, I probably got to lay a little bit of law down. I got to probably give him a pretty lengthy suspension. And he probably went to Hunter and said, look, here's the situation. You're going to serve this long a suspension or you're gone. I mean, or you want to go find a new home. That's what I think probably could have happened here. I don't think it was definitively, hey, you're gone. I don't think it was definitively, I want to leave. I think it was, we'll let you stay, but this is what you're going to have to go through. That's my guess.
According to NCAA rules, he's got to sit out again. So I wonder.
That's so weird to me.
I wonder if he'll try to appeal, unless he sat out enough where he graduated. No, he played as a true freshman at Michigan State.
He didn't graduate this year.
Yeah, he played as a true freshman, so that's why he sat out. But he'll have to sit out another season unless he can get appeal in. Do we know where his mom lives?
No.
So maybe he'll end up closer to home and try to make up a reason. And knowing the NCAA, they'll grant it.
No
but
kidding, they won't.
They'll deny the guy with the dying mother to play right away.
In Hunter Rison's defense, I think he should be able to play wherever he goes next year. I know it's a very touchy line to toe there, but, dude, he sat out the 1-year transfer rule. Something didn't work out here. Just let him play wherever he's going. Don't make him sit out, too.
Riley, that would be good for players. That's not good for the institutions.
It's also true.
I want to touch on that real quick. I don't know. I doubt we have questions on it. But the Big 12's now pushing back on this transfer rule, the grad transfer rule. Come on, man. Don't quit. Just quit pretending you're about the student athlete. They're indentured servitude to you. Once they sign that letter of intent, they got to do all kinds of stuff to get out of their contract, basically. But coach can leave at any moment. This is just, it's nuts. It's crazy. And I don't know. I think that moves it closer to something happening, players forming a union, which would be not good at all for college sports.
Yikes.
From I Like Pickles Cat, what do you expect from the Hunter Rison trial?
I expect charges to eventually be dropped.
Yeah, I think it's all going to go away now that the primary witness has gone away.
I don't expect them to be dropped because they have found evidence proving they had no backing on the arrest or anything like that. I think this has been because of the two parties.
Are both departing. And, yeah, I mean, if you're Manhattan, you want it gone too. Not just K-State, Manhattan. He's high profile with his father being Andre Rison. People will pick up on it nationally, and you know what Baylor did for Waco's reputation, so because the Waco PD didn't do much in that whole thing. In fact, we're involved probably in covering up stuff. So, yeah, I think everyone involved just wants us to go away and move on without any of the parties around.
And if the charges do get dropped and things move on, I can't stress enough to fans that, like, it's going to look on the surface like he was innocent and Chris Kleiman kind of shoved him out the door and Hunter Rison didn't want to be here. And, like, it's not going to look that good on
Domestic
the surface.
violence cases are often not cut and dried. There are false accusations, but then there's also times where the accusations are real, but they just don't want to testify for whatever reason, and there's no case there. You can try to charge someone. We've got such conflicting accounts of what happened, radically, from really bad to nothing at all. It's hard to see what's going on. There's nothing clear about this at all. So without witnesses, it's just she said, he said, and they both are leaving. So I think everyone's like, okay, good, bye.
Peace.
Nope, nothing to see here. Moving on.
From Purple Cheese, who will be the big play receiver this season?
Big play.
That was a nice noise I just made.
Cut that one out. Save it for.
It's hard to say. It really is. There's some young talent on this team, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
There's some guys that could step up, but Dalton Schoen does kind of fit the way this offense runs. This offense runs off of a slot receiver, has been their star receiver quite often, so
that's where you got to try to define big play. Does big play mean Dalton Schoen got the 18, 22-yard pass over the middle that got the big first down on third down, or does that mean that Sebastian Taylor caught the back of the corner end zone touchdown that put case? How do you define big play? I don't really know. I think Dalton Schoen will probably be the most targeted receiver this year.
Or Nick Lenners.
Okay. Yes, I know they're receivers.
But that's my point, is if you're talking about big play people, I mean, there's a couple tight ends in the league that you would consider big play receivers.
Yeah.
And this offense involves the tight end. I just want to clarify something to K-State fans. It is still legal to throw the ball to the tight end. You can have a forward pass to a tight end. That's not like a covered up tackle, which I know you've come to believe because they have functioned like a tackle as of late. And I always have to remind K-State fans that Bill Snyder used to throw to the tight end on a consistent, regular basis. And that was one of the most baffling things that changed about his offense. He just went away from screens. He went away from throwing to the tight end. He just abandoned a lot of stuff that I think you will see now introduced back into the offense. There's some similarities here, but this offense will be a little bit more diverse. And Nick Lenners adds a wrinkle in here as a guy that can stretch the field as a tight end if you call the right plays.
From Hard Times Cat, we know the Cats plan to use several running backs this year, and we have heard about all the new additions to the position, but do they plan to use the fullback position any this year? If so, will they use Luke Soa, Mason Barta, or someone else?
Let me throw in Jackson.
Yeah.
Dude looks like a tank.
My thought is it'll be either Barta or Deneen.
You don't think Soa?
I don't think so. Soa. I don't think Soa.
I don't think Soa. Soa? I don't even know.
I think it's Soa.
I think it's Soa.
I read
too.
it, and I was just like, well,
yeah,
we did it.
Yeah, we're just going to roll with it and pretend like we didn't mispronounce it. They'll use the fullback, I think, some.
They'll be on the field. And they'll probably move a tight end back there as an H-back once in a while.
But I don't think you're going to see the fullback get – how I want to put this. I don't think you're going to see the fullback get carries consistently like you're going to see tight ends get passes consistently, if that makes sense. I think tight ends and receivers will be kind of used somewhat equally, whereas running backs will be clear-cut, definitive, the ball carriers with the occasional fullback peppered in left and right there and here and there. So I don't think it's going to be, like I said, that consistent. And when it is, I really do think it could be Jackson. I think it could be a true freshman that burns his red shirt, plays more than 4 games.
They're going to play freshman.
Yeah. They don't care. I mean, it was funny. We were texting about something yesterday in our group text, and I said, it wasn't involved in this, but I said, every guess, every strategic move that we are making in terms of analyzing things is based on the Bill Snyder philosophy. Yeah. And it's different. Everything is different. Red shirts, freshmen, experienced players, and playing over maybe more talented players. I mean, it's anybody's guess right now. We kind of have to wait and see.
We have to see how he uses his talent. That's exactly it. You learn these rules of the road covering Bill Snyder for so long, and they did kind of evolve through the years, as I just mentioned with the play calling, and some of how he used players evolved. But that all changes, and I think being in the first year and knowing that they had a kind of a gap in the talent here, they just didn't have enough depth. They will use some freshmen more than 4 games. I'm guessing as many as 5 will play during their freshman season and exhaust a year of eligibility. Now, that creates a possibility of, they can play straight through their career, save that redshirt for an injury, or maybe they redshirt later on. And, when some talent starts to catch up, they have to fill in the depth of this team. That's where the program was slipping. They still had pretty good frontline talent, but they were 1 injury away from a drop-off, a dramatic drop-off, not just first to second team. I mean, there was a big drop-off, and we could see it in the results on the field. So they're trying to correct that so that they got some more guys that can play, and they will certainly use that 4 games and maintain your redshirt rule. They will use that quite actively, I bet.
From Wildcat Wabash, any word on Marcus Hayes' status and his request to play next year?
We have heard nothing.
Nothing's been updated.
I don't expect him to get eligible. I don't see why he would be eligible under the rules.
I didn't want to question Chris Kleiman because it was one of the first times we had honestly spoken to him in a press conference, but he was like, we're going to try to get Marcus Hayes a waiver, and I wanted to go, on what grounds? He's a transfer.
It's closer to home, but not close.
And even then, that doesn't justify it in my mind. You made the decision to leave and go away from home the first time.
Yeah. The NCAA is weird, though. You have to take your chance.
I agree with that.
I guess I wasn't trying to criticize Chris Kleiman for doing it. It was more like
he sounded so optimistic.
Yeah, he made it sound like, that's why you're asking the question, is because his comments and the way that we reported on it when he said that made it sound like, oh, maybe he's going to get it. And I would be very shocked to see him on the field, just put it that way.
From Purple Powerhouse, who do you think will have a breakout year this year? Choose an offensive, defensive, and special teams player.
Oh, boy. All right.
I already said my offensive guy. They're going to throw to the tight end.
No.
And if Nick Leonard can stay healthy, it's going to be dramatic, I think.
Defense, I'm going to say I really think Walter Neal. I think he's going to have a big year. I think he's going to emerge, not start as the not lockdown. I think by the end of the year, we're going to look at him as the best cornerback on the field. I think on offense, I'm going to go with Sebastian Taylor. It's easy, I know. It's lame, I know. But he only got thrown 2-3 times last year.
Well, I'm going to pick someone lame on defense because I think we've only scratched the surface of what we're going to see from Wyatt Hubert. I think he's going to be a Big 12, all Big 12 caliber defensive end this year and very, very disruptive.
I feel like we've already given it to him just because he's big.
So, yeah, I think, and also they're going to unleash their DNs a little bit more than they did under Bill Snyder. They're going to be a little more aggressive on defense. It was all about gap sound, stay in your gap, and there's going to be more opportunities to, get out there and make a play, which could create big plays for the offense, but the gamble is that you're going to create more big plays for the defense, turnovers and sacks and et cetera, and I think he'll be right in the middle of that.
And on special teams, I'm kind of bending the rule here. I think you're going to see, obviously, Blake Lynch do a lot of place kicking, and so I don't know if this qualifies necessarily as breakout, but I think that Ty Zentner, the Butler kid that came in, I think he's going to get some maybe some field goal attempts, maybe some kickoffs. I don't know. And they might be really limited, but I really do think we're going to see a flash or two out of him where we kind of go, okay, once Blake Lynch is done, or maybe even before Blake Lynch is done, might have some competition in the kicking room.
Phillip Brooks is a primary returner.
There you go.
Good.
From Roscoe Freeman, any word on how Christian Duffy and Katori Leviston are developing?
Nothing really big on Duffy. That's kind of because I haven't asked. It's on me. In terms of Katori, I did notice, and I don't mean to, I don't call him out or whatever, but he kind of looked a little bigger. Wally and I noticed that on Saturday.
Not good bigger?
Not good bigger.
Like me.
It might have just been, yeah.
It is what it is.
It might have just been an angle. It might have just been the shirt he was wearing. Who knows? But
that's usually it's my
yeah.
clothing.
I do know that's a problem a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's the stripes.
I wouldn't expect. I'm gonna put it this way: I'm not expecting Katori to be in the mix this year unless some injuries happen and they kind of go dipping. He didn't. He's gonna need to get after it this summer a little bit. Let's put it that way.
From Powercat Ryan, can you expand upon being able to attend these camps as a member of the media and having access to the recruits and coaches? I knew K-State hosted such events, but had no idea what it really entailed or what transpired at a camp.
Let me just say this. These have been open at almost every university in the country except Kansas State. And technically they should have been open because they're public events. I mean, they're attended by the public. Parents can be there. They should. In fact, I remember going at one point. I can't remember what player. It was so long ago. I can't even remember. It was a quarterback I went to see. When they found out I had gone, they were like, "You can't be there." And I'm like, "Why? The stadium is open. This is a public camp." That was the full-blown camp. That was before all of these one-day camps and 7-on-7 camps. All this stuff that's erupted. There's no way to fully measure the magnitude of using these camps properly for a football program, but also using it properly as a football program is allowing the media to attend and generate headlines off of it. This is positive media coverage almost at every turn because the kids rave about Kansas State. Honestly, they probably rave about every place they go, but you were not hearing it about K-State. So it created an impression they didn't like K-State because, we didn't have the opportunity to know sometimes what kids were where. So this has been huge. Ryan Wallace, we just mentioned our text conversation we have on a daily basis to keep everyone abreast of what's going on. Ryan Wallace was just talking about that this week, about how huge this is and how the staff is using these to really recruit. This is where they're getting their recruits, not the satellite camp in Texas, not the big camps that the top names go to. They want to get players that they're interested in on campus and see them in person and then sell them on K-State, and it's being very effective. But as for the question, from our standpoint, it's gold. It's so good to be able to cover football year-round because it is year-round. It's so good not to be viewed as someone that's going to destroy the program if we write about a recruit. It was just obscene how paranoid the previous regime was, and you kind of adapt to it. You've got to adapt to it. If you keep pushing back, you're just going to drive yourself insane. So Ryan Wallace has jumped both feet in. He's done a great job. You will be at the Friday one day.
Yes.
And he's unable to come, so Riley's filling in. It's just enormous.
The biggest thing, Wally said it on Saturday when we were there. He was like, I've talked to some people in the program before in a couple of years past, and they said, you can come and watch all you want. You can't write anything. You can't report anything because, they'll know you were there. They'll know you were talking to kids. I was like, why is that an issue? There was never a good reason. There's
never a good reason. It was just control.
And, you learn so many different things. It's like the kids the Butler kids that Wally wrote about. He probably wasn't going to write a story about them, but we were sitting there watching. I mean, he might have down the line. But we were sitting there watching drills, and Hank Jacobs and Chris Kleiman pull this kid out of the drills, and they talk to him for a little bit, and they shake hands. So, we're kind of thinking he got an offer. He didn't, but, that inspired us to go like, hey, we need to talk to that kid after the camp. I knew I was going to write about Hadley Panzer, but I saw him go into the tunnel after I spoke to him, and then he gets an offer in there. It's like, yeah, we would learn about it on Twitter 2 hours later or whatever, but you just know so much more way ahead of time. And we're able to cover the recruits that are actually important a lot better, and find me one good reason why we shouldn't be there, and then we'll stop going. But good luck trying to find that reason.
Last question of the first half from Powercat Ryan. Which of Kleiman's staff is most likely to stay long-term, and which ones may be looking up to move quickly? And he asks, can we hang on to Van Malone specifically?
I don't know if I would use the word looking to move on, because I don't think any of these guys are
looking to move up.
Move up, move on, whatever. Same thing. It is.
I think Van's been a defensive coordinator. It didn't go particularly well. There's a chance, like in Alabama or someone that just pays outrageous could come after him. And I know he's just a positive guy. I mean, he could live in even some place as hideous as Lawrence and tweet nice things about it. Sorry, Kitty fans, that's a shot.
Crash.
But I think he's sticking around. I think Courtney Messingham is at Chris Kleiman's side. Courtney's never going to probably be a head coach unless he goes to the FCS level, which would be a huge pay cut probably. So I think Mess is probably at his side. I think Connor Riley's the one most likely to move on because I think he's going to be coveted as an offensive line coach and get paid extremely well for that, or he's going to be an offensive coordinator.
Yeah, you kind of hit it right on the head there. I think Connor Riley will be gone sooner rather than later, but I don't think it's because Connor Riley is here looking for his next stop. I mean, I'm sure he's, told his agent or whatever, like, hey, if there's something out there, let me know.
When you're at North Dakota State as an offensive line coach, do you have an agent?
Maybe.
I don't think he's actively looking for his next stop, but I think he will get recognized very quickly as a smart coach, as somebody that probably deserves to move up, and that's why I think he'll probably be gone first off the staff, I would guess, unless somebody chose to retire. That's just my guess. And then, those guys kind of like Brian Anderson, I don't know. You'd have to be really good at running back, I think, for someone to come pick Brian Anderson off. So, yeah, that's just kind of where a lot of Fitz kind of covered a lot of what I was
If Kansas State's defense thrives, the personality of Scotty Hazelton will put him on the radar as a head coach.
Clanderman probably has to move to linebacker coach somewhere before he would take that leap up to coordinator or anything like that.
Right.
Buddy Wyatt. I guess Buddy Wyatt maybe, if he got an offer somewhere else.
Yeah,
but
he's kind of the age, and he's banged around a lot. You would think maybe he just wants to settle in. He was at KU a lot for a long time, and I think he likes this area. He gets to recruit Texas, so I don't know. My thought is they did a good job putting together a staff that will probably stick around for a while. If they move on, it won't be because they want out. Not like Ron Prince's staff that after 1 year, they're like, I got to get the hell out of here. This guy's insane, which is literally what happened. So I think these guys will be around. Barring failure, I think Chris Kleiman's in here for the haul, and a lot of these guys are going to stay at his side as long as they're well compensated and compensated competitively in the marketplace. So we'll see how that all pans out. That is the first half of the Powercat podcast for this midweek of June. Is it midweek? It is midweek. It's kind of later. When's summer going to arrive?
Wait, midweek or mid-June?
Mid-June is what I meant.
Okay, well, it's after mid-June.
So it's late June? I don't even know when it is because summer...
Today's the 19th.
It won't behave like summer, and it's thrown me off. It still feels like April.
It's still spring.
Still feels like spring. And we're loving it. And we're loving doing this podcast as we power through the summer with your questions from Wabash Station. We'll be back on the other side, and we are sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
The gang will return with more of the Powercat podcast.
Diets and workouts, you've done the work, so why can't you get to your goal weight? That's because up to 70% of your weight is predetermined by your genetics. So while you've been told that it's all about your willpower, you're actually fighting your biology. Don't do it alone. Found's Doctor Design program uses medication as part of a treatment plan that targets your body's unique biological needs, so that your body works with you and not against you. Take the quiz at joinfound.com to see if Found's weight loss program is right for you.
Getting the crew together isn't as easy as it used to be. We get it. Life comes at you fast. But trust us, your pals are desperate for a good hang. And when they hear you stock the party with drinks from Drizzly, they'll be banging down your door. Let Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery, take care of the supplies. All you need is an excuse. It doesn't even have to be a good one. It's your dog's birthday. The loquats are finally ripe. Whatever. With Drizzly, you can compare prices on a massive selection of beer, wine, and spirits and get them delivered straight to your door. Which means you can entice the crew to leave their houses without ever leaving yours. Whatever the occasion, download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
Back to Fitz of the Powercat podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
The Powercat podcast returns for the mid to late June episode. I'm unsure of what the actual date is. I'm just here, loving life. I'm Tim Fitzgerald, that's Riley Gates, and Zach Carlson, who are sponsored by the Fridge Wholesale Liquor. And I forgot to mention Tanner's. That's what I forgot to mention in the first half. Our segment sponsors are Tanner's, which is down in Aggieville, and the High-Low, which is down the street from Tanner's in Aggieville. They're great people, and I would encourage you to get down to either one of those or both. Do a little mini pub crawl. Do the podcast pub crawl, which involves 2 bars.
I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I think that just means you're eating at one and drinking at the other.
And there's no wrong answer. You can eat at one and drink at the other, or eat at the other one and drink at the other one, and you are still going to have a great time. You're going to get great service, great food, great drink, and you won't even have to go down into the end of Aggieville where it gets a little crazy.
It's Booga Day if you're listening to this on Wednesday, so you can go into Tanner's and get a burger.
Let's talk about this. So Tanner's, their big features are boogas, burgers, and chicken lips, chicken fingers. I get the shtick, but it bothers me, man. Booga bothers me more than chicken lips. But really, booga? Zach, you have a perplexed look on your face.
No, I disagree. I think chicken lips are weirder.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I mean,
let's be real, you cook a lot of parts of a chicken. And
Yeah.
so that could make people think you're literally like,
It's the beak, bro.
yeah. Yeah.
Well,
A booga, I don't know. Is there any...
I had a gym teacher in junior high ate his own boogas. But
Oh,
that's a whole
okay.
different
All
story.
right. A booger.
Put
Okay.
the R on there. And
Yeah.
Well, here we go. It's your questions from Wabash Station from right here in the WTC Gig Powered Studios.
I like pickles. I don't know why I said it like that.
You're like,
I like pickles.
Cat?
I like pickles. Cat asks, what positions are now in need for this recruiting class?
It's a good question, Pickles. It's kind of pretty good because I feel like every time I have like a grip on what they're going to do, then they kind of do something else.
They're still looking at offensive line.
Yeah.
I think they feel like that's an area that they really need to restock. And I think we'll see them evolve on running back.
I was just going to bring that
They'll
up.
get into the fall and see what they got, really have guys at camp or in games, see where they sit, and then they'll figure out what exactly they need at running back.
Probably need to attack defensive back a little bit.
A lot of it.
They're still chasing quarterback. Well, no, I guess not for 2020. I guess it was more 2021. But I feel like they're going to get a quarterback.
Well, they're going to get another quarterback that might be a different position. You know,
You mean
yeah,
will transition into quarterback or will transition out of quarterback?
Transition out. They're going to find a quarterback or two that, with the intention of, like the Royals drafting 2 shortstops in the first round. I don't know why that's hard to understand that only one of them or neither of them will be a shortstop. I mean, George Sprout was a shortstop. But Merrifield played shortstop. Who else? I mean, they didn't just go down the list of shortstops. You go get good athletes who know how to play the sport, and then you move them to positions. And that's what they'll do with quarterbacks. They're in so need of every position. They got to have defensive backs. I mean, that may be the most desperate position on the team. Defensive back, both corners particularly, but then safeties too. They need a couple young linebackers. They really do. And
They gotten off to a nice start with linebacker.
Right.
But probably couldn't hurt to have more.
no, that's true. That's true. They have done that. They knew that was a position, and they didn't really need to see what they had. They needed more and better. But defensive tackle. I still expect them to get a big old Samoan Polynesian kid that can come in and have an impact. I think that is a mission of Coach Tuiasosopo.
Was Mark Tien a shortstop?
Third base.
Well, I know he played third. Did he start
I
at
don't know.
short?
I'm not sure.
I think he played everywhere.
I'm not. Oh, yeah.
At one
I think
point.
Mark Tien did everything except for pitch and catch, and
Gotta
play
have those
good
guys.
baseball.
Well, that's a problem. That's usually a requirement of being a baseball player, but not of
play good.
you don't need to be a good softball player to play City League softball.
I can confirm that.
Okay.
From Wildcat Pilot 88, being 29th in recruiting is pretty awesome. What's your guess as to where we will finish in February?
45th. No, I'm serious.
Okay, you said it with a smile on your face.
45th. They're benefiting right now because they have so many commitments, and they are of the latest ones are higher than previous K-State recruits, but not dramatically higher.
They're probably not going to land any 0.9s on the scale. Yeah, probably a high 40. I almost want to say like pushing in the 60.
I know it, folks. It's going to be better. It's going to be better, but the numbers are going to come down. So don't just. It's just the way the system works. They have so many early commitments, and it's going to settle back in, unless they, finish incredibly strong and pick up some 4 stars and really have a surge at the end. It'll center out a little bit, but it's going to be improved. It's going to be a sign of progress, and in some ways, you don't want it to just happen overnight, because then you're probably getting kids, honestly, that other programs don't want despite their talent. Which has been typical of K-State 5 stars. And you're getting them because there's been some issues. Even a 4-star like Daniel Green. There were some academic questions there that K-State took a chance on, and they got him in. And now we'll see if he can ever really pick up the defensive schemes.
Between 45 and 55 probably seems like a safe bet.
So I was optimistic at 45.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to settle in. Don't worry about it, though. It's going to be better than what we've kind of grown used to under Bill Snyder.
From Purple Powerhouse, what would you say is the biggest difference in K-State's recruiting philosophy now versus Bill Snyder's philosophy?
Trying. Can it be that simple? Wow. Making an effort? I mean, I say it as a joke, but I also definitely mean that. You didn't really see and hear that much about the old staff going out and making it a point to let people know they're on the road and they're looking for you. And they we mentioned earlier, they didn't allow us to go to camps, and so we didn't know, or are they actively recruiting their camps? Are they just bringing kids in as a courtesy thing? I mean, it's such a different. We told you guys it was going to be different, and it's drastically different. It feels like they're going out and finding the athlete that they want. Like we said a lot last week, they're finding the athlete they want that they think they can get on the field. And once they get them here, they'll find a place for them.
This staff is being more decisive. They know what they want, and they're closing. When they put an offer out and they really want someone, they're attempting to close. And one of Bill Snyder's things was he was always measured in his decision-making. What do I mean by that? If you simply wanted him to sign off on the cover of a media guide, it would take months for him to say, okay, yeah, that's fine. Or he'd make some nominal change to it, and then you make the nominal change, and then he'd want a bigger change. So quick, decisive thinking. I'm just going to say it. Are you going to retire or not? I mean, he couldn't even make up his mind on that. And it was just a personality quirk. And it spilled over in recruiting. And it spilled over in play calling. When he was calling the plays, there was a lot of times with the play got on the field too late to actually run it, and they had to take a timeout or get a delay, simply because he couldn't decide between this play or that play. And so we saw it, and it happened in recruiting a lot. He was the only one who could officially make an offer. and then he'd have to decide if he wanted to make an offer, and then he'd make an offer, and then he had to decide if he wanted to actually, sign the kid, because offer's different. Maybe a kid could take it and go, hold on, just slow down here. This group knows. We want you in the program. And Chris Kleiman's like, get the damn recruit. Oh, excuse me. Get the dang recruit.
Win the dang recruit.
Win the dang recruit. I
think you have to have win and dang.
Man. Next question.
Now it's basketball, and it's from GPC Riley Gates. He says, talk about Nigel Pack, and I say no.
Nobody asked about the newest commit. Come on, guys.
Why didn't you just make up a name? Like from Farmer Riley.
That was really bad. That
Farmer Phil.
You're trying to think of something funny there, and it just it didn't
Farmer
happen.
with a PH, but that doesn't work on a podcast either. I'll get back
St.
to
John's Catholic All-Star.
That would have been a good one.
8-man All-Star.
Dude.
That's a nice pickup. That's a really nice
I hope the
pickup.
mics picked that up.
They did.
I am impressed. I thought they had a chance. I thought they were doing pretty good getting him on campus for an official visit. And after he told me, I want to make a decision before Peach Jam, I'm thinking, okay, K-State's in decent shape, but he went and visited Belmont. He went and visited Northwestern. He had interest from some other places. I kind of thought, he'll hold off. He'll blow up at Peach Jam, and that'll be that. I did not expect that when I landed in California, I would be landing to news of K-State getting a basketball commit. And it's a damn good one. He's averaging 18 points a game on the EYBL circuit right now, and he's not playing for a bad team. Indy Heat is really, really good, and they're going to make some noise at Peach Jam next month. That's probably the best commit that Bruce Weber has gotten in terms of, hey, he's a good player. Hey, we want him. It's not our second or third option here. We're going out and getting him. It's probably the best one they've landed in. I don't know. I guess I wasn't all that familiar, but maybe Levi Stockard in terms of hey, he was really good in high school and they went out and got him. I wasn't really covering the recruitment of him that much.
Levi was a 4, but you could watch his film. I'd probably say X.
X, okay, yeah. It's a really good pickup, and now I'm going to warn everybody, he's going to blow up here.
Yeah, he's going to get some pressure
They're going to. I wouldn't be shocked if Indiana offers him. I wouldn't be shocked if Purdue, Ohio State maybe will take a look at him because Ohio State's recruiting a couple kids on his team. If you guys don't, I know we haven't done tons of Peach Jam stuff, and this year I'm in a wedding the weekend of Peach Jam, so it's going to be really kind of limited a little bit, but I'll try to do as much Peach Jam as I can. If you guys don't understand how big Peach Jam is, it's massive. It's the best of the best on the Nike circuit, and the Nike circuit is the best circuit out there, and they're all going head to head. And I'm not exaggerating. Every single college has some sort of coach there, and some have multiple coaches there.
Absolutely.
It's
going on all over the place. Yeah.
It is insane, and he's going to score a lot of points. And they're going to know he's a kid because he's a K-State commit. They're going to be talking about him. So he's going to get offers. My gut tells me right now he'll stay committed. He just kind of seemed like that type of kid when I talked to him. But I don't know if there's a quote-unquote right school out there that if they offered, he might back off.
Yeah, Indiana, I don't know.
I don't know who that might be if there is one. But for now, it's a really good commit. It's a really good pickup, and kudos to the staff because that's a great get.
It's a great pick. From all you've told me, he's a good kid. Sounds like it. This is important for this reason. If they can really get an early signing class that is impressive, it buys them goodwill from the fan base if things don't go as well as some think. Some think this team's going to be NCAA tournament bound next year. I personally don't see it at this point. I've got to witness more development from the big men and other guys to really believe that this team can get to the tournament. But if they struggle next year, however, they've got some really good players that are, not guys that you think will pan out, but you can see right now in their film, these guys are legit. Fans will be, okay, that's cool. we'll have this transition year, and then next year you can bring those guys in and supplement what you have coming back with a very sound freshman class this season, anchored by DeJuan Gordon. I'm never going to get that right. DeJuan,
I think.
DeJuan.
I'm done. Like, I'm just going to wait until we get to, I think we're going to talk to him here in a week or two about Team USA. Basically, I just want to be like, yo, give us what your name is, because we're going to get so many different originations.
I'm about ready to do that. Just ask, even a guy like Dean Wade, could you tell me how you pronounce your name? Dean Wade. Okay, I just want to check, because it could have been Dean Jada.
Down Wad.
Wadi. So it's very confusing, but let's just go with Dejuan Jada.
Yes.
Dorton.
But yeah, I'm fired up. It was nice. It was good. It's a kind of positive vibe that they really needed, and it really took the sting off losing what honestly was an okay player out of Vegas. It's not a good look to lose a player to a non-Power 5, but I didn't care.
If you told me, would you rather have Nigel Pack or Nick Blake, I would rather have Nigel Pack.
Even if it's a year off. I agree.
Yeah.
From T-Max77, this past year it was mentioned here that Bruce Weber would coach a few more years and then retire. Is that being used against him on the recruiting trail, do you think?
I honestly don't know, and I don't think so. I'm not sensing that. I mean, he's not really been public about that. He can be for that reason. But people around him think he's not Bill Snyder. He's got a shelf life here that he may not make it through this freshman class, but if they're really good, I can see it. I'm not sure.
I guess maybe we should clarify. We're saying that because that's kind of what we think. That's what some people have said that they think about Bruce.
There's nothing hard and fast about that.
Yeah, I mean, hell, for all we know, he could go another 10. I don't think there's coaches out there saying, oh, Bruce Weber's on his last leg. Did you listen to the Powercat podcast? That's what they said.
I don't know why they're not listening to the Powercat podcast.
I think the coaches out there that he's recruiting against know that Bruce has a lot of energy for somebody his age, and they wouldn't be shocked if he went another 5, 6, 7 years. So they're not going to use that as a tool. He's not Bill Snyder.
Look, yeah, you could tell Coach Snyder was winding down, and not necessarily from his lack of presence on the recruiting trail, which somehow managed to drop as it went on, and it never was significant. But Bruce Weber's the opposite. He's out there all the time. So he's active. He's working hard. There's no signs that he's, quote, slowing down. So I don't think it's being used against him. Still wouldn't surprise me if he's got 3 more in him. And then again, he might go for 6, 7. I don't think he's going to go for 10. But I think he might go for a while because he loves coaching basketball and he loves coaching, kids. So I don't know. If he gets another good recruiting class for the following year, with Pack being the first of that group, that might prolong his shelf life. If you got a good team, you get a little bit more spring in your step.
From ContraCat, is Bruce Weber's squeaky clean rep the reason he only hires internal below-the-radar types, and is that what keeps some of the rainmaking recruiters off the staff?
Okay, those are 2 different things.
Yeah.
You bit off 2 different things. I think he hires within his staff because Bruce is an intensely loyal person. If you're working hard for Bruce on his staff, he wants to move you up into an opportunity. I get it. It's incredibly deflating if you're working hard and you're hoping to move up and you really wanted to be an assistant coach and he goes out and hires a different guy who you honestly look at and think, I don't think he's as qualified as I am. So I thought from day one he was going to move people up. I never thought he was going to go out and hire someone. I thought this was exactly what he was going to do, and we said it, and we were right, as it turned out. Now, the reason he doesn't get rainmakers is they do play in the gray area or the black area, depending on who they are. And, of course, when I say black and white, rules aren't black and white. There's a lot of gray out there. Yeah, Bruce stays in the white, in the clearly under the rules heading. And you should feel good about that, but it puts K-State at a disadvantage if the NCAA is going to do something. That's why I'm hoping the NCAA wakes up and does something, as has been reported, in the near future. He's not going to hire guys that are sketchy, are going to do things that will cast a shadow on his reputation, on the university, and the program. And I admire him for that. But my other side of that is if the NCAA isn't going to enforce the speed limit, go a little bit faster.
From Purple Cheese, will either Barry Brown, Kamal Stokes, or Dean Wade ever play in the NBA? Or is it Europe and the G League for these guys?
I think Kamal Stokes will not ever play in the NBA or the G League simply because
Size, speed.
well, he's not going to get the opportunity right out of the gates, and I think he's going to make enough money playing overseas somewhere that he's going to go, I'll do this for a while and then I'll just kind of live my life. I think Dean Wade will play absolutely in the G League, and I do think he'll make a roster at some point.
Yeah,
I'm comfortable saying that.
He'll get some action if he stays healthy. We got to put that asterisk with Dean. If he stays healthy, he's gonna end up somewhere. He's got some skills, and in the right system, he might really fit what they want to do. And if he can expand his game a little bit more, and by that I mean really stretch that shot out. Really stretch that shot out and be comfortable beyond an NBA three-point line. I think Barry might follow Jake Pullen's.
Barry's just so tough to predict, and it's because of Jake.
Yeah, you look at Jake, who had a much better handle. Barry's got to work on his handle a little bit, handle the ball. But he could get a sip of coffee up in the major leagues there. You might get that. And, some NBA team might play him a couple times and fill a spot with an injury guy. But I think for the most part, he's going to make a really good living over in Europe. And he's going to be a fan favorite just as he was at Kansas State. That's exactly what Jake did. He's made a good living. He's had a good life, basketball shelf life. He continues to do so, I think. So I see Barry following that.
Yeah, my gut just tells me he won't.
It's too small.
I don't see how his game fits into the NBA. And you can't say defense because, as sad as it is, nobody gives a damn that Barry Brown is really good at defense.
If you're going to be
doesn't play it.
If you're going to play a defensive stopper, you got to be Wesley Iwundu. You've got to have that 7-footer wingspan on a smaller body, be really agile, get some lift. You can't be the guy that can just shut down the shorter guards. You got to be able to be the guy that can take the guard and take the 4. So that's on him.
Last question of the second half from, I'm certain I have never said this name on the podcast.
Yeah, I don't
so welcome.
know. I was trying to figure out how to say it.
We're going to figure out how to say this. Itame Bibi? Itame Bibi.
It's like ITAMBIBI.
You did better than I would have.
Bibi.
Hey, pal.
Bibi. We're going to call you Bibi.
What is your expectations in Dejuan Gordon's first year?
Start.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's going to start.
Yeah, I've said that we both have said that from day one. Basically, since the season ended, it's like, okay, we think Dejuan will start at the 2. And I think he'll be really good. And I think he'll have a lot of success, but I'm probably going to make some people mad by this. Because he was at Team USA's tryout this week doesn't crown him Big 12 Freshman of the Year. It doesn't make him an All-American, all that stuff. Now, he did damn good. He was really impressive out there from all accounts, and he held his own. I mean, it would have been really easy for him to just get shut out the door by those 4 and 5 stars out there, and but at the same time, and this isn't a dig at him, he was only there because of Bruce. And that's a fact. I mean, you used the resources, and it was a great opportunity.
Great. Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm very happy that he was out there.
That's him getting to play in that camp against those players probably made him understand how far he has to go.
Yeah. I think he's going to do real well. And I think by the end of the year, we're going to look at him as probably one of the best, if not the best player on the team. But the thought that he's this completely underrated 4-star pushing a 5th star, and that they've just found this hidden gem out in the rough, I guess I'm struggling to see. I think he is going to be really good, but I think he's got some things he needs to fix. I don't think he is a top 100 player in the class. I think he could develop after time, and we go, man, he was better than some top 100 players. There's a difference between the two, and that's all I'm saying. And I think that my point on the message board, because of text being misconstrued over voice, is I definitely think he's a good player. I want to encourage people to pump the brakes. He had a great putback dunk. That doesn't mean he's going to do it every game. I mean, I feel like people saw that highlight, they heard he was doing well, and suddenly they've thought that he's the next coming of whoever.
He's going to have a better freshman year than Xavier Sneed did, simply because he's going to have more opportunity. But I think his upside probably falls below what Marcus Foster did as a true freshman, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Marcus,
You can't do much better than Marcus.
Marcus had a big impact, but and even though the opportunity's there to have that kind of impact, I'm not sure as I sit here today he will. Of course, at this juncture leading into Marcus Foster's freshman year, there was no way for me to expect what he did.
Right.
We knew he had a good, vibe around him, but we were getting the same message that Javon Thomas was going to be an all Big 12 point guard from the same people. So sometimes even the people that are out there recruiting them on a day-to-day basis don't quite see the big picture and feed you misinformation, not wittingly, but, sometimes they do, but unwittingly. I think he's good. I think he's really good. He's clearly the star of this recruiting class. He's going to have an opportunity to really push his ceiling because K-State has a need. But I'm not convinced he's going to average double figures yet. Maybe he'll get to the teens, low teens. I doubt it. Maybe 10, 11.
I can't stress how much it is that I think he's going to be a good player, and K-State's going to rely on him at times. But I'm not about to go put the pressure of the world on him simply because he had a good week with Team USA.
And
that's just where I'm at.
Yeah, the thing for him is he needs to go out and have a really good start against the nominal competition that K-State will probably have scheduled. Go out and really show that he's better and build some confidence and some belief, but also an understanding that when Big 12 play starts, young man, you're going to get defended. You are going to get people up in your face like you have never experienced in your life. And if you can acclimate to that and understand how to create your shot, where to get your shot, how to get to the rim, where your game fits in against a really good defense, then you're going to be okay and you're going to grow and thrive. But some guys just get shut down. It was so easy in high school, and then they get here and it's like, everything I was doing doesn't work.
Everybody is equally as good as me.
We'll find out. I'm not pessimistic. I'm not optimistic. Well, I am a little bit, but I think some people are thinking he's Michael Jordan. I do. I think some people think he's, has the upside of that. And look, folks, he's a very good player. I honestly think 24/7 had him rated too low. I think Rivals had him rated too high. I think you said the same thing.
Yeah. Right in the middle, I think.
Yeah, and honestly, as someone who's worked with both basketball staffs, I trust 24/7 a lot more than Rivals basketball. I really do. I did when I was at Rivals. It's just the truth. 24/7 has a serious, really good basketball staff, and just because you're rated 181, that doesn't mean you're a bad player. It might mean it's an incredible class. It might mean there's a lot of guys very similar to you that on that given day of evaluation, they ranked higher than you, but in reality, you're 120, but there just happen to be 80 guys in your neighborhood of evaluation. It gets very finite. Very, very finite when you're trying to break down guys that can be so similar. But at that position in particular, I don't know. We're going to find out pretty quickly. He's going to be thrown into the fire. K-State needs him to be good, and will Dejuan Gordon be as good as he can be? We'll find out. That's the beauty of the off season. You can bicker about these things and talk about it, but in the end, the wash gets done, and you've got to find out if the colors are still bright or faded. That's it for the second half of the Powercat podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. This segment is sponsored by the High Low. The first segment is sponsored by Tanner's, and we are in the WTC Gig Powered Studios.
The gang will return with more of the Powercat podcast.
Imagine the softest sheets you've ever felt. Now imagine them getting even softer over time. I'm here to tell you about Boll & Branch and how you can discover this new level of softness with their iconic sheets. In a recent customer survey, 96% responded that Boll & Branch sheets get softer with every wash. They source the rarest 100% organic cotton for an incredible softness to start. Then they skip the toxins and harsh chemicals for a natural feel unlike anything else, and it all comes together with their signature weave. This special design feels buttery, breathable, and unlocks new levels of softness with every wash, and they stand behind their promise of softness. With their 30-night guarantee, you can wash, style, and sleep in their sheets for an entire month. If during the 30 nights, you don't love your sheets or feel them getting softer and softer, you can send them right back. No questions asked. So head to BowlandBranch.com for 15% off your first order with code Odyssey. That's BOLL and branch.com. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. Find bets in the new Explore tab. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/247 and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be 21 plus and present in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, permitted parishes only, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, or Wyoming. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777, or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700, or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas, 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia, or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York, or visit oasas.ny.gov/gambling. Standard text messaging rates apply. Sports betting is void in Georgia, Hawaii, Utah, and other states where prohibited.
Back to Fitz of the Powercat Podcast, sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor.
The Powercat Podcast forges forth into the overtime. We're forging forth, gentlemen.
We really are.
I don't like that.
You don't like forging forth?
It should be forward, right?
Forging forward.
No, you're forging on. You're moving forward, you're forging on.
I don't know. Forging's just fun.
I'm pretty sure I'm right.
I'll be glad to change it. I'm not sold. Forging on. It doesn't have the...
That's just what this
Sounds
entire
like a-
segment's going to be, folks.
like
We're
a-
just going to argue about this.
Yes, that's it. And that's the Powercat Podcast. We're sponsored by Fridge Wholesale Liquor. Get into the fridge for all your entertainment needs, including Kevin will come to your house and dance. Ask for the Kevin Dances at My House package. Don't ask for
do it.
Don't ask for Kevin's package. That gets awkward. That's just bad. We're here in the WTC Gig Powered Studios with another summer edition of the Powercat Podcast. The first time we've ever had enough to talk about to go through a summer. Guys, we might miss a week or two in July.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to be gone so much in July.
Yeah, I know. We're going to have some vacations coming up, but we are basically going to get it through the whole summer with nominal break. And in the past, we had so little to talk about because there was no recruiting going on and nothing was happening, and we had no access to information, and that we could take 2 months off.
I still can't believe we did that.
It's crazy. It was crazy. A lot of things have changed now with Chris Kleiman in charge of K-State football, and it's probably time that you become a member at Go Powercat. I don't know why you haven't yet. You can get 30% off your annual subscription to GPC, so get on over there, click join, and go get that annual package that, like I said, will be 30% off, and you will be in the family. Great discussions going
It's like
on the board.
$6 a month, guys.
Yeah. One of the things I love about the new site is we have some serious discussions about K-State sports going on, and not a bunch of name calling and not a bunch of nonsense. Really, people discussing things. You know, we could use some more threads. I agree with that. But then again, the summer, and it's been such an amazing summer. I'm actually very impressed we've had as much discussion as we have, because I just want to be by a pool. When it's 80 degrees, just give me a pool, go out. I'll go out, work outside. I'll get stuff done.
I walked out the door on Monday and I was like, should have played golf today.
I leave the door open. One of the great things about my dogs is I've got, as most people know, I've got a standard poodle, and that's the big kind. And she's goofy and fun and wonderful. But we've also had Scottish Terriers. So every screen door we've ever had, she's turned it into a doggy door. She goes, I can see outside, and thus I will put my head down and keep going until I can go outside. You know, Scotties are kind of like cat dogs, so you can't tell her what not to do. And so now we have a screen door that has a great flap. So that thing's been open. The dogs come and go. Run the fan of the house. It's been great.
Better shut it soon, because it's going to be 90 at the end of this week.
Yeah, I'm not such a big fan of that.
Not so much.
We will have it shut up, and I think more people will be on the boards at that point when it's 98 degrees and humid in Kansas, as it tends to get. As I said, we're sponsored by The Fridge. These are your questions from Wabash Station, and this is the overtime. Ask us anything, and we will answer it. And here's Zach Carlson.
From CatStat88. If you were kidnapped and the kidnappers allowed you to remain on social media to maintain the illusion of normalcy, what comment would you make that would let people know, but not the kidnappers, that you were in trouble?
I need to get back to running.
I'm not.
I'd say something like if everybody knows something that's your favorite, once you get kidnapped, you have to be like, okay, I'm a different person right now. And then you make comments like, I hate Whataburger, worst restaurant ever. Or like I've always eaten goldfish my entire life. Like, goldfish are the most disgusting thing I've ever had. Whales all the way. Like, yeah.
I can't stand drinking Crown Royal. That's mine.
I've got mine, other than what I just said.
I was like, didn't you just give yours?
Just sign every tweet, rock chalk.
They'd be like, all right, something's up. Oh, Fitz hates KU, man.
Are the kidnappers stupid, or like,
do they know me?
How much research have they done into us? Because I feel like Rock Talk is like, hey, you're just saying that. That's not being normal. We know you're a K-State guy.
I feel like if the kidnappers kidnapped me, they would know a lot about me.
But here's the thing about my Twitter. What defines normal? I mean, I'm ready.
I'd say not having an animal as your avatar
this has been a weird transition.
Have you been kidnapped now that you're using your face?
Yeah. We just thought it was good for business, and there it is.
Trying to get verified.
The secret verification system. Folks, Twitter hasn't closed its verification system. People are still getting verified. There's just a secret backdoor person that handles it. And then when you find out who it is, you're sworn to secrecy, apparently, and never allowed to reveal it, or you probably lose your own verification. Athletes are getting verified. TV people get verified.
We don't spend enough money on advertising.
That's probably exactly it.
I was about to say, not even OJ can get verified, but he might. Oh, no, there it is.
He would kill
OJ Simpson can't even get verified on Twitter.
He would kill to get
But
verified.
it is him. It's been 25 years.
Just kill to get verified.
Yes, it is, in fact, OJ Simpson. He took a video stating what his Twitter handle was, so.
You think that
and here's the Ford Bronco. It's mine.
If there's anyone who cut through the red tape, it'd be OJ.
Good God.
Come on, can you get an if the glove fits?
Yeah.
Or if it doesn't fit?
You want to get a third one in there?
Yeah,
Got any more?
I'm good. I feel good about myself.
Okay. From Concha Cat, what are your way too early predictions for P5 conference champions and the games? Who's going to participate in the game and who the winners are?
Hold on, I got to pick two teams out of every conference to play in.
To reply to an OJ tweet. Sorry, go on.
You want to give it?
Yeah. OJ Simpson says, someone yesterday asked me what the best advice I ever got was. My mother said to me before she passed, Orenthal, you can't let people and mean speech set you further away from GD. That was the best advice I ever got. And by the way, she was the only one who called me Orenthal. First reply. She should have told you not to murder anybody, but that's a whole nother story. If you go to O.J. Simpson's Twitter and you read any tweet he has, that's the only replies he gets. It talks about murder. I might follow him just to read the replies. It's like Darren Ravel. All right, go on.
Oklahoma, Texas in the Big 12.
I'll say Texas.
Yeah, I think Texas will win, too. I think Oklahoma's going to take a step back this year.
Big Ten?
It's too
Wisconsin?
I don't know.
I mean, you feel like you got Wisconsin, Ohio State. Northwestern finds a way to be in the mix late, but they don't win it. I'll say Ohio State because it's a safe bet.
Maryland, Rutgers.
They're in the same division.
I know. I'm going to go Ohio State. And you ready? You ready?
Huskers.
Nebraska.
They're another year away yet.
I'm just going to go with it just to be that guy.
Okay.
I mean, they have the easier division, though, so.
ACC, Clemson and who?
Clemson.
Clemson and Clemson?
I couldn't tell you if Clemson was in the Atlantic or if they were in the Coastal, and which other teams are also in the Atlantic or the Coastal.
Without looking it up. Maybe Miami gets there?
I don't know. I don't care.
It's going to be Clemson, so it's not even worth
Georgia Tech?
No.
Pac-12?
I don't know. Pac-12. I feel like that one's wide open.
Washington and...
Is USC that far off?
Maybe Utah?
Colorado was pretty good, weren't they?
Utah or Colorado?
I'm going to pull for Utah.
Literally, you could pull a name out of the hat in the Pac-12.
I think that they equally have
named.
a 1/6 chance.
Washington State, although they lost their quarterback.
That was a math thing.
A 1/6 chance. I feel like you could pull anybody out of a hat in the Pac-12 with the exception of, like, Cal, and that's it. And you could be like, yeah, I could see them winning it. Why not?
Not Oregon State.
Okay, yeah, Oregon State. Sorry, I forgot about them.
2 Washington schools.
Hell, maybe
Oregon.
Herm Edwards takes the Sun Devils back. Maybe Kelvin Sampson
I think
takes Arizona there.
Pac-12 South is literally pull a name out of a hat.
Okay.
And it
All
shouldn't
6 of
be.
them.
Think about the programs in that division. USC, UCLA, Arizona, Arizona State. And then the two that seem most prominent right now, for whatever reason, are the newbies, Colorado and Utah. Doesn't make sense to me. Though someone out of those first 4 should be a powerhouse. But that Pac-12 conference is so bad right now in everything. I feel like if you put together beach volleyball, they would screw it up. Well, they do have beach volleyball. I don't follow it. I don't know. It's just a mess out in the Pac-12. They're getting far less TV money. They just don't take sports seriously. You know, I had someone tweet at me. There's a real changing shift in some of those schools because the typical student base is evaporated, and now some of those schools, because they're desirable, are really heavy into international students that. It's changed the demographics of the student body so much that there's just not an interest in college sports from the fans. I was intrigued by that. Some of those schools are really heavily shifted to international because there's more money in it. Just keep their doors open. It's crazy. But I don't care. But, I mean, the Pac-12 is probably not going to be in the playoffs again.
Probably so.
SEC?
It's so easy to say Alabama, but it's like, do I really see anybody else doing it? Not really.
No, I don't. Alabama.
Maybe Auburn pushes them. Maybe.
Well, who's from the East then? Florida?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Georgia.
I'm not going to. Yeah, I guess Georgia. I forgot about Georgia. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know on June 19th the state of every team in different conferences.
Oh, exactly.
But
and Stoops has done a nice job at Kentucky.
Yeah, they'll just never be SEC champion good.
No. They
And
just
I feel
can't
like
be.
this is their window.
Championship game good. Come on.
The right to
Come
lose to
on.
Alabama good.
Or anybody else in the West.
So yeah, I'll go with the basics, the cliches.
From I Like Pickles Cat, which former players deserve more respect either in football or basketball?
Jeremiah Massey, as I point to him on our wall.
Yeah.
My guy.
Yeah, he was.
He liked my tweet the other day, by the way. I took a picture of the wall, and I said, like, Jeremiah Massey, and I had the heart eye emoji. And then he liked that tweet.
Did you mention him?
No,
Or he
like, found it 2 months later.
That's funny stuff.
Amazing.
10 years after his career, he still
He still searches his own name.
can't put away the yearbook.
Yeah, I look at a guy like Jeremiah Massey, and if you plop him down like on last year's K-State team or the Jake and Michael team as kind of a role player. I mean, that been David Hoskins was supposed to be that player on that team. How good they would have been with someone that just went and rebounded and had stickbacks. He was so active. He played so hard. That's why K-Staters still fondly remember him, because he just played so hard all the time.
Football is tough. I always thought Winston Dimmel was better than he got credit for, but I was trying to go a little bit before recently.
Winston was good, but
Winston was
he
a
just
very
got put in a bad position by everything, all the politics going on. Kind of became a pawn piece in a way.
Scapegoat is the term for that. Actually, Dana was the scapegoat.
They were a package deal.
Yeah, fair.
I'm
Who's
trying
an
to think.
older player that deserves more respect that I'm struggling to come up with right now?
I'll say Jake Waters.
Yeah.
I think Jake was a really good quarterback. He won some big games. He won at Oklahoma and got hurt in the process and played through it. He was tough. He was a good leader.
He's like third in all-time yardage, and he played for 2 years, third or fourth or something like that, isn't he?
he's-
He's on the list somewhere.
Great young guy. He's in coaching now. I think Jake, he'll never be mentioned with the great quarterbacks because of Colin and Mike, and But I think
and more politics.
He was close to Jonathan Beasley. Maybe not as good because John played 4 years, and so you kind of remember more. But he was like John in the fact that he played through injuries.
He played for 4 years?
Beasley, he was here 4 years.
Did he start for 2?
He started for 2.
Okay.
And in fact, in '97 at Tech, Bishop got pulled because he was so bad, and Jonathan won that game.
I can't come up with a better football example than Jake Waters. And that whole first year was bogus because so many people, for some reason, had an unnecessary love for Daniel Sams, even though he hadn't proven it on the field. I'll never forget sitting in Lawrence on the goal line or whatever, because you can sit wherever you want at KU games. And I watched Jake Waters score 2 straight touchdowns on the first 2 times K-State has the ball. Third possession, he goes down the field. He's inside the 10 or something like that, and they pull him out. They put in Daniel Sams inside the 10. He loses like 13 yards, and K-State kicks a field goal. Daniel got pulled. He threw a hissy fit, didn't want to give fans high fives after the games. It was... that whole season will never not frustrate me, how fans, for some reason, thought that Jake Waters... Not only did they think Daniel Sams was a better quarterback, but that Jake Waters was a bad quarterback. I'll never forget.
Yeah, people still try to say Jake Waters wasn't a good quarterback. And
He threw 2 picks against North Dakota State, and that's why we lost. If Jake Waters hadn't played that game, North Dakota State blows K-State out of the water. It's not even close. Just saying.
Yeah. There's some other players. If you go back far enough, and thinking off the top of my head, I'm not able to pull them out, but there's some guys back there, probably Eric Hickson, Mike Lawrence. They shared the running back, and neither one of them were great, but they were pretty darn good on some really good K-State football teams.
From Infected Testicle, when you start adding sound effects again. Will the chicken tetrazzini clip make it in?
Thank you, Infected Testicle, because I forgot about that one until I was putting these questions together.
I don't remember that one.
Chicken tetrazzini.
Oh,
What's funny is I remember it more as being a soup clip than a podcast clip, because that was when the soup was still big, and I feel like and looking back, I feel like there was some crossover between a lot of the clips we used between that and the soup.
If anybody
so old.
remembers all of the sound clips, because we remember a lot of the big ones, but I feel like we're gonna forget some pretty important ones. So I don't know, start a thread or something.
Most Mike Breen bang. Mike Breen bang.
Say that 3 times fast.
Mike Breen bang. Bang.
The bang. We've got the chips. I love the party, although I don't know if we can get that one back.
I don't know
where
that
that
is.
sound is.
I wouldn't call the chips a good one. That one.
But it was iconic.
It was the worst.
You pig? That was more pig than chips.
The questions where it's which one do you choose, right or wrong, and then the ding and the ant.
Okay. See, I know that there's some out there.
I have
I'm
a
not
file.
remembering.
I still have a sound
Oh, you
file.
do?
And then,
hell
But not
yes.
all of them. I mean, the ones we used all the time, there's a file that Wally built that I inherited.
Do you remember when you did the Mike Bring Bang and you did it 9 times in a row? It's like bang, 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 bang.
But I love how there's multiple versions of the bang. There's
Yeah.
this bang. There's small ones. And then the Pop Tamale, I'm sweating. Woo! But switch it out for Bruce Weber.
Woo!
It's going to be so much fun.
Zach, we got to put that video on the podcast at some point where we took Bruce Weber and put him in there. Pop Tamale, I'm sweating. Woo! I got to watch that video now.
From Adam K63, with the topic of alcohol sales in stadiums, do you think that K-State will go stadium-wide with sales? And if so, would that curb the binge drinking in parking lots before the game?
I don't think K-State will sell alcohol until Bill Snyder is completely out of the picture.
That's interesting. Why?
Because wasn't that
Because his name's still in the stadium, and
he said something about
he doesn't
it, right?
want it at all.
I mean, someone made that known, whether it was him or Gene said it via him.
Look, and it's not because he's an old guy. He had a daughter that should have probably died in a drunk driving incident where she was the passenger, and she's permanently disabled in terms of being fully functional walking. So yeah, it changes your perspective. You wouldn't want anyone out there drinking who might be behind the wheel later. I get it. But I don't think because Coach was so involved in his game day stuff, they're drinking, just not in the stadium. And they're right. The question's right. They're binge drinking.
Something tells me, though, it wouldn't really stop the binge drinking. Because, let's be real, they're going to make the beers $8, $9.
Well, what you do is you stop the pass outs. You can't go out at halftime.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm just saying, though, I'm going to tell you right now, if I was tailgating a game and I knew I was going to maybe buy a beer or 2, but I'm not going to buy 4 or 5 at the game, I'm probably going to walk up to the gate with 2 beers in my hand and try to finish them before I get to the ticket. I mean, that's just kind of what a lot of kids do.
That's how you roll when you're out of gates.
Yeah, you betcha.
I don't think it necessarily curbs the binge drinking, because I would say that a lot of the people that are binge drinking are not of age to buy the alcohol in the stadium anyway.
True.
I become intrigued because how will getting rid of the ability to leave during the game affect those people? Will they even come in? Because they could go out at halftime and recharge. Will they even come in at that point?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's going to come. I think Gene Taylor, the AD, is just kind of sitting back, waiting to see how it impacts other schools.
Texas has it.
Colorado has
Did
it.
OU just add it? Oklahoma State has it.
Okay, yeah, Oklahoma State does. I only know Texas because I saw someone come into a basketball game with it.
I mean, at Texas, you got to let them bring weed in, anything to get them into
Surely
the
West
arena.
Virginia has it. Surely.
I don't think so.
I want to say that they might.
I don't know the Big 12, honestly, off the top of my head, but I feel like some bigger dominoes are going to have to start falling.
You
Maybe
know,
let KU take that one first.
I kind of agree with Gene on this. Let's sit back, look what kind of problems other people have, and let's see what the real revenue implications are. If it's serious revenue and the problems are nominal, yeah. But in this world in which nobody's responsible for their own actions is someone served alcohol at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, climbs behind the wheel even if there's no sales in the fourth quarter, and then has an accident, they'll sue the university for serving him. That's just the way it works nowadays. So those are real life consequences you've got to calculate in if you're the boss. It's not just simply he's not letting you drink. You know, what if one of those lawsuits stands up for whatever reason? It wouldn't if I was on the jury, but you just never know anymore.
To counter that, every other pro venue, regardless of the sport, sells alcohol until, if it's baseball, the 8th inning, soccer, the 75th minute, basketball, third quarter, football, third quarter. You know, how many lawsuits have come from that have made any sort of, I don't know, national stuff? And I don't think there's anything, you know.
You could implement the Chiefs rule that they put in this past year. You can tailgate, and if you're going to the game, you go in. You know, if you want to drink during the game, you can drink in there, or you go home. They don't let you sit out there in the parking lot and do whatever you want during the game.
It's not a bad
It's
rule to
terrible in terms of those kids that are going to drink at the parking lot and then try to get home, but...
Okay, I actually have a problem with that because Chiefs tickets are so outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
There were people that would go and set up their TV with an antenna or a satellite and watch the game on a big screen or a projection screen in the parking lot and enjoy the game sounds. And that was kind of a tradition. I get what they're after. This is our private property. If you're not coming to the game, you shouldn't be here. I get it. Maybe they feel like those are the people that are then, when everyone's in the stadium, they're prowling around doing stuff. Like the guy who ended up drunk in the wrong car or whatever that was. I can't remember that story. The person climbed into the wrong car, and I'm not sure. So,
wasn't that an NFL directive though that they were given? It wasn't.
I'm not sure.
I don't think it was the Chiefs. I think it was the Chiefs let it happen, but then they're like, stop this.
But that's a perfect example of trying to control the ramifications of drinking.
I mean, I'm on your side. I think this is a stupid rule, but it certainly would counter something.
Yeah, it's an idea.
I wouldn't argue that it didn't work.
It was unfortunate because it was part of the Chiefs culture. Right. Tailgating's so big, people that couldn't afford to go to the game would come and tailgate and enjoy the game from the parking lot. And it's unfortunate it ends. I get it. I think KC will have it in the next couple of years. I really do. I think maybe not this season, but next.
When you have it at baseball and women's soccer.
Is it there permanently?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the reality is you're going to have to keep adding things. You know, they've added the Wi-Fi strength and to get people in. Yeah, whatever. Get people into the. If they'd add WTC,
become good Wi-Fi.
They should just contract WTC to do their Wi-Fi in the stadium.
Gene, because I know you're listening to this podcast.
He's probably out mowing the lawn listening to us. So. I think they'll have it. I'm going to just go out on a limb right here. It better be a strong limb. 2020.
Ooh. One more issue that has to be kind of addressed is a lot of those concession stands at the stadium, they're all a bunch of high school kids doing a fundraiser for something. You get rid of a lot of that. I mean, certain stands.
I think you'll have to have standalone beer stations.
Yeah, you probably can't put them in the...
I think you'd have standalone beer stations, maybe 3 or 4.
2 on the east side.
Oh, you need more than that. I think you'd need
3.
Well, not just lines.
Places.
I mean, they'll have a stand that might have 3 lines to it.
Yeah. I don't know.
You need one every couple sections.
But that's a valid point. Maybe that's all going to wait until they do the south end zone renovation, and then they can build that into, like a couple of those stands can be built into that lower level of Bramlage that they're going to probably access for added restrooms. And I don't know. We'll see. I'm all for it. I think they should have beer in the press box. I don't know. Let's go out on the game. Back to you.
Didn't you say at Stanford they came up after the game and just passed out beers to you?
That's an old school press box thing.
That'd be so nice.
It used to be in every press box in the, going way back. And guys were being flasks and, you just... Think of Harry Carey. He was hammered by the end of the game because he was drinking the whole time. I mean, and
Whatever happened to those days?
yeah, well, I think it still goes on in baseball press boxes.
I would never quit this job.
But yeah, there's still places. Once in a while, you'll see it at a place, so they'll have beer waiting for the beat writers. Stanford galvanized in my brain that they don't really give a crap about college football. They didn't. It was such a non-event out there. How they ever got good in football, they don't deserve it because they don't care about it. There was hardly anyone there. Right in the middle of the fourth quarter with the game on the line, they yelled, "It's pizza time," and brought pizza out for everyone. and beat writers just got up in the middle of a play to go get pizza. It's like, what the hell's going on in here? There's a damn game going on.
Oh, no.
It was just, yeah. I yelled, "Get off my lawn."
I wish it was pizza time on the field sometimes.
I bet. I can't
You guys
see
get all the cool stuff.
the media just down there eating pizza while they're watching the game from the field with a beer.
Pizza in my left hand, camera in my right hand on my shoulder. Just
After a few beers, you're trying to film with the pizza and you're chewing on your camera.
Next question's from I Like Pickles Cat. Who are on your Mount Rushmore of sports broadcasters?
See, I didn't know if this meant like radio play-by-play, if it meant like TV commentators. Does it mean talk show?
Does Stuart Scott on SportsCenter, does that count as a sports broadcaster?
Right. I feel like we need to draw our own line.
I would say announcers.
Just
like
anything.
play-by-play.
Does TV play-by-play count?
I would say just TV play-by-play.
Not radio.
I mean, I think it'd be separate. I don't know. Do what you want to do. I don't know.
Because, I mean, I hate to just piggyback off what was just said, but I feel like Harry Carey, if you're including radio, would be on a Mount Rushmore. He has a damn statue at Wrigley Field.
Pat Summerall for me. Keith Jackson from back in the day.
Vin Scully.
Vin Scully, yeah. Howard Cosell.
Man, we haven't even gotten to the year 2000 yet.
You think about all the shtick going on right now with all the talk radio or the radio that's being broadcast onto TV, all the shtick they have. Think of Cosell. That's what he did. He was all shtick. I mean, he was enticing Muhammad Ali, for ratings back before that was even thought of. So he was so far ahead of his time, and he really wasn't that good. He was just so stylistic. He was kind of the Stephen A. of that era.
I think mine would be Harry Carey. I'd hate to put him on there because I obviously didn't do that, but I feel like Lee Corso, because he's so iconic. He didn't really.
Before his stroke, he was amazing.
Yeah.
He was so good because he could shift from silly, humorous to serious insight, and he's not really able to do that anymore.
College basketball.
I'll say Fowler and Herb Street. I think they're big time.
Thank you. I was going to say Chris Fowler.
Brad Nessler.
Yeah.
If you played NCAA, you know Brad Nessler's voice.
I always thought it was weird how Lee Corso would be in the booth for NCAA football games, but never in real life.
That was really weird. Man, there's so many. I hate Mount Rushmore. It needs to be like 10.
Not Joe Buck.
Yeah. Vern.
Yeah.
When Vern Lundquist can do Alabama football and golf and be equally good at it, I feel like he has to be on there. I'm going to say Vern. I'm going to say Lee Corso. I'm going to say Harry Carey. And I'm going to say... screw it. I'll go Brad Nessler. Not pleased, but I'll go Brad Nessler.
I'm not going to 4. I'm objecting.
We're shaving Lincoln off the monument.
I'll go Vince Scully, Jim Nance.
Oh, Jim Nance. Hello, friends.
Hello, friends.
Brad Nessler. I don't know. I don't know who else. Surely there's someone.
Jim Nance.
Ooh, can't. Well, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank right now.
What sport?
All of them.
That doesn't help me.
From Kansas City. He's from Kansas City.
I know who.
Oh my goodness. Does NBA, TNT.
Kevin Harlan.
Yeah,
Kevin Harlan. Kevin Harlan. There you go.
Sorry, I was thinking TV. He's more radio.
He's both.
Okay. Yeah. He does radio of an NCAA tournament. TV.
It's TV for
the NBA.
He does TV for NCAA tournament.
Does he?
Yeah.
Okay.
At least the first rounds, but if by the end of it, he's probably doing radio.
Okay.
He does a lot of radio,
I've
but
been at the first rounds the last 3 years. So yeah, that's kind of where I'd go.
Next question. Wait, you want to do yours, Fitz?
No.
Okay.
Fitz chooses what he answers.
I guess Bob Costas.
Okay.
Would he be in there? Maybe before he became a parody of himself.
If you want to put him on yours, I'm not going to tell you.
He's not going to be on my Mount Rushmore. He might be in my. He might be on the third attraction at Mount Rushmore.
Is he the crazy horse?
He's crazy.
No,
horse.
that's Joe Buck. We're never going to quite finish this.
We're going to take forever. From Wagcat, pick 3 bands to play back to back for your ultimate concert experience ever.
Okay, the thing with this question is I don't do tons of bands. Like, I like individuals. So can I do
pick a concert? Pick your concert lineup.
Did you hear that Blink-182 and Lil Wayne are doing a concert in the fall?
No.
Yeah.
Where?
It's like in Kansas City.
Interesting.
Or maybe it's Wichita. It's one of the two. I'll put Queen on there because I do love Queen. I'll put I'll put Garth Brooks. It's going to be a really weird concert, by the way. I can't think of a third. Come back to me for my third. I'll think about my third.
Oh man, I just have to pick 3.
You listen to a lot of music.
I've never been to a concert. I've never been one to go see people live. Like, I don't have anybody I'm passionate enough about to go and see them live. But I will admit, Jonas Brothers coming to Kansas City in September, I was like, their new stuff's pretty fire.
Sue me, their new stuff is really good. It's not Disney Channel. It's not Disney Channel music.
Like, their comeback is impressive.
Best 3 concerts I've seen are Leonard Skinner, even the reformed ones. Well, that's all I've seen. I wasn't around pre-crash. I wasn't conscious of them. I was around. Well, just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Pink and Michael Bublé. But the band has always been one of my favorites I've never seen in concert is The Cure. So I saw them play when they were put into the Rock Hall of Fame this year. I'll videotape that and watch it. Just incredible. That's a weird concert.
I'll put Luke Combs.
Any 3 of those 4 that's a bizarre lineup of things.
Luke Combs is my third. So we've got 2 country headlining acts and then Queen.
And honestly, if I get Kenny Chesney just to play his beach music, I would go to that.
Frankly, if you ask me again in a month, I'll probably have 3 different answers. I don't stick to one musician, band, whatever. It's like I bounce around a lot.
So think of that. I picked someone that sings standards, someone who's pop, but really good in Pink, classic rock, The Cure, which was alternative, on the edge of it, and then I added in some country. That's pretty much my musical taste.
It's pretty good concert you got going on.
You
there.
forgot Camila Cabello though.
If she gets down the road, I'm gonna go watch her. I don't know. She didn't get cast in the new West Side Story, so I'm a little upset about that.
Okay.
They cast an unknown high school girl as Maria. Spielberg living on the edge.
Last question of the podcast from Exhausted Nihilist. I see on Twitter that Coach Kleiman will be at Kauffman Stadium Saturday throwing the first pitch before the Royals take on the Twins. Will he win the dang strike zone?
I don't mean to dog on Coach Kleiman, but my gut tells me he's either going to bounce it or be way outside. His warm-ups on that video.
They weren't real convincing.
Who was the catcher? Was that
Messingham.
Okay, I thought it was Mess.
If you pause it, you can see his mustache.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out, but I didn't pause it.
It's Mess.
Okay, that's who I thought it was.
Coach Mustache. It's a Twitter handle.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a strike. Unless Angel Hernandez is umpiring, then it could be a strike.
Could be.
I don't know who threw out last year.
Could eject him too.
I think it was.
Throw out. He threw at the batter. There is no batter.
Does anybody remember who did it last year? Was it a football player? Was it an athlete? I know Gene did it 2 years back. Dean and Barry?
And Kamau?
And Bruce Weber? I don't know. I really don't know who did last year. All I know is Gene did not because it was the same day the Corey Sutton stuff went down, and Gene like bounced it a little short or something. And I was like, it's been a long day for Gene. So.
And as of right now, you and Ross Uglum will be at that game.
Will. Yes, indeed.
And courtesy of our friends at Blue Mark Energy.
Yeah. Thank you.
Got to slip that in there too. Another sponsor came through and got us some time. Was that it?
That was it.
That's all.
That's all, folks.
Probably should have been it based on your response. That's it for this week's Powercat podcast. We're sponsored by The Fridge, and we will hopefully talk to you next week. We're coming up on the 4th. We'll take the 4th off. When's the 4th fall this year?
Thursday.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Hawaii, so I can't.
I didn't know you were going to Hawaii.
Yeah, I leave on the 2nd.
Oh, my goodness. Are you going to go to Hawaii this summer?
No. So I told that to Pat Strathman, and he goes, man, I need to be on the GPC payroll. Everybody's going to Hawaii.
You and Fritz should go to Hawaii together.
So you need to go see Tyler.
We will talk to you next week. If you bring the questions, we'll have the answers right here on the Powercat Podcast.
Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com and Spirit Street Publishing.